Hello, Floriani Forum. It's been a while since I have looked at my Floriani Forum mailbox, and it turns out that I've got a question that needs to be answered. So I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability. Let's take a look. Quilts and Lace asks, Hi Brad, I teach an FTCU class here, and I use your video clips to show how it's done. I would love you to share what camera you use for recording your video clips. I have not ever made a video, nor have I uploaded any YouTube content, but that should be pretty straightforward / intuitive. Well, to answer your question, for a video camera, I use a Canon XA10, and for recording video of the software, I use a program called Camtasia. It retails for about $300. It's worth every penny. It's great software. Anyway, I would like to offer one idea for your video library, a video on the common pitfalls in digitizing. Well, that's an area about a mile wide that I don't really have all the answers to, really, but I especially have trouble with determining why the Redwork wizard does not like a piece of art. I've not been able to figure out what confuses it so readily. Now that is a question that I can give you the answer to. So let's work on why the Redwork wizard might not like a piece of art. Well, let's first try and find a piece of art that we would try to use the Redwork wizard on. So I'm going to go to google.com, okay, our old friend, and click on the Images tab. I'm going to look for well, what would you make Redwork out of? A quilting outline sort of thing, probably. Quilt outline. Okay, and so we've got all these different kind of quilty type designs. I'll pick one that's fairly this one. I mean, that's not really a design that you would do Redwork, but it's a design that you would expect the Redwork wizard to work on because it's just one color, right? And it's just straight lines. Is how simple could it be? So this is the one we're going to do. We're going to left click on view image here to make sure we get it in the largest version. We're going to right click and choose save image as. We'll save it, whatever the default is fine. We'll save that. And let's minimize my browser, and here we have Floriani Total Control U. Now to use the Redwork magic wand, we would use a backdrop. So we click on the backdrop tool, and we're going to choose the image that we just downloaded. So go to wherever you saved it to. Mine's already looking at the right place. So we click on that, choose open. Oop, I hit cancel instead. We click on that, choose open, and there is our design. So now it should be a fairly straightforward process. We go up to our Redwork tool, we'll left click on that, and then we left click somewhere on the black line, and it should trace the whole thing. And wait a minute. Oh, there we go. No, it only traced a single line. Let me hide my backdrop here. Look, it only traced this one line. Why is that? Well, the reason that the Redwork tool is unable to trace this outline when it works so perfectly with the artwork that's included with the program is that when you download something over the internet, or indeed when you have any kind of digital image of any kind, it's compressed, and when you compress an image, it introduces a certain amount of noise. Let's take a closer look at this artwork. Let's zoom way in. I'm just rolling in with my mouse, basically. See how the line that looks from afar is black is really made up of these three different colors: this dark gray, black, and really, really light gray. And that, along with this little bit of noise at each of these corners, and see how there's noise out here, that is what is confusing the Redwork tool. And it's because this image isn't the original image. It's a copy of the image that whoever the artist was that designed it originally made it. They have the original. They saved it as an image that's made to be put on the internet. It gets compressed. From afar, it looks exactly the same, but when you look up close, you can see that the image is made up of more colors than it ought to be. So what to do? Well, there's all sorts of graphic programs that you could use to fix this. but we're going to assume that all we have is Floriani Total Control U. And in fact, there is a way that you can use Floriani Total Control U to fix this artwork. And the way that you do it is, let's go ahead and hide our backdrop here. We'll just go ahead and get rid of that. You would go up into the one of the wizards. Now you could do this with either the Auto Artwork wizard or the Auto Digitizing wizard. It literally doesn't make any difference which one you choose here. I'm going to use the Auto Artwork wizard because all we're doing is creating artwork, so it works thematically. We're going to click on that. We're going to select an image, and the image we'll select is this one here, the one that we started working on, and choose Open. And then we'll hit Next. One thing that we can do to make it work a little better is increase the size. So I'm going to set this to about 200 millimeters, about 8 inches. That this is going to eventually end up looking at, and we'll hit Next. Here we see that it sees 3 different colors. We're going to reduce the amount of colors to 2. Okay, we see 1 and 2, and then we're going to choose Edit Image. Left click on Edit Image, and there we see the image, and the program will automatically average out the colors. So that you only have black and white in here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to left click and drag on here. You can see that now, when I zoom way in, this is only one color, and it's black. Okay, and if we look at this, we can see that it's about 2 pixels wide. You see how my cursor is about 3 pixels wide, and no matter what I do, one end of it pokes out. So I can see that that's about 2 pixels wide. And while now we have an appropriately colored image, it probably is still not quite thick enough for the artwork wizard, or not the artwork wizard, but the artwork tool to trace. It's possible that it would be able to trace this whole thing, but unlikely. In fact, I tried this image earlier, and it's still too thin. It traces most of it, but not all of it. So what you can do in this program, which is built into your computer, this is what will automatically happen on a Windows PC, is you choose a thicker brush. Okay, and to choose a thicker brush, you go to size here, and we'll just choose the next size up. We'll go ahead and use the line tool, which is this one here, line, and then hold down the shift key, choose a corner, and drag across and let go. Now I've thickened the line right there. I'm going to do the same thing, say down here. And the reason we're holding the shift key is that's what makes it straight. If I don't use the shift key here, I'll do one without using the shift key. Then it can go any way I move my mouse, and I can end up with a curve, with like a not totally straight line. But look, I'm gonna hit shift, boom, it like moves it right to the right place. Now notice that I have to kind of click on a spot that's not touching the line that I just drew. If I try and do that, it actually moves the line that I drew. Okay, hit undo. So you actually have to, so like right here's the line I just drew. I'm going to draw one over here, hold down shift, drag down, hold down shift, drag up, shift, drag down, and I'm making these thicker versions of the line as I go. Now granted, this is a design that's all straight lines. Okay, it's much easier to do it like I'm doing it right now on a design that's made entirely of straight lines, but it's also totally possible to do it with one that has curves. Many designs that you get, the outlines will end up thick enough for the Redwork tool to trace as it is, but I just wanted to show you the way that you thicken them up. And if I'm doing a design that's not all straight lines, instead of using the straight line tool, I'm using the pen tool, right? And I just have to follow the contour, or actually rather not the pen tool, the brush tool, this one right here. And I have to follow the contour of whatever it is that I'm tracing. See how it's harder to do that? I can't make a totally straight line, but at the same time you can't really make a curved line either with the straight line tool. So you have to follow your curves somehow. And then if you're somebody who has an advanced image editing program at your disposal, then you'll see this and understand exactly how to make your lines thicker. But once we've thickened up the lines here, we can just go right up here to the top where it's got the little file menu, choose Save As JPEG. This time we'll name it something, quilt outline, something of that effect, and choose Save. And then close this and close the wizard. This time we're going to click on our backdrop tool. I'm going to right click and choose load backdrop. If you didn't load a backdrop previously, you just click that and it would go right to load backdrop. But now we scroll down and find our one that we just made, quilt outline, choose open. Then we're going to go into the Redwork tool. This line here was from when I originally did the when I tried to trace it before. We click Redwork tool and click somewhere within the black. I'm going to go ahead and select this red line that I had from earlier and delete it. But now we can see if I turn off my backdrop, right click, turn off show backdrop, we can see that it actually traced the entire design this time because I had a single color line that was thick enough to be traced. Those are the two things that are important. It's got to be thick enough and it's got to be all one color. And that's how you can make that happen. Like I said, if you've got a more complicated design, you have to be more precise with your mouse movements. But that's the answer to why your Redwork tool doesn't always work. It's all about the compression of the original image and the fact that the line is seen as thinner due to it being made of different colors. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.